what are the people saying with regard to the elections as they await formal announcements of winners?
Really, people were impressed with the election because people have been allowed to vote their candidate of their choice.
Before I let you go, Abdullahi, what can you tell us with regard to participation in the election by people with disabilities? Were there arrangements for them to be able to vote without any difficulties?
Yes, really. Even the old age, they were given opportunity to vote without any hitches, because as anyone with any PWD person that came to a polling unit will be allowed to vote, and an old age person too will be allowed to vote before the others.
So they were all given the opportunity to cast their ballots without difficulties, right?
Really.
Okay, we look forward to hearing from you as time goes on, so that you let us know who and who have carried the day. Thank you very much, Abdullahi.
Okay, thank you.
Abdullahi Tukur, our correspondent in Birmingham, Kebbi, there with the situation report with regard to the governorship and state assembly elections. Coming back to you, Eva, you heard what he said.
Yeah.
People with disabilities have been given the
priority voting and even the aged. That's a plus.
We'd like to hear that.
Yeah, that's a plus on INEC in that respect, in that regards, and that's a plus on INEC in that regard for giving priority voting. They said they were going to do that, and at least in that polling unit they actually did, and we are grateful for that. Though it's our rights, we don't have to always be thankful to them for doing that, but all the same, we are grateful to that. And okay, before the call-in section, we were talking about the negative aspect of what transpired 25th February till yesterday. So as CSOs on our part, we are going to, the people's hope was dashed. People's hope was lost in terms of coming out to vote, taking an election in high hope. But we are also taking note of at least the positive cases that happened. And we are going to use the positive cases to educate our people that hope was lost, but not all hope was lost. So we are going to document those positive results we are getting from other states that have really, the people's mandate is being recorded.
Take reports, page 5. Yeah, this side. Yeah. Okay. Take reports, page 5. That's NC food basket. NC food basket, page 5.
And the man is a reverend father, so he will forgive you if you bring back something.
Have you seen it?
Game, I don't want to be involved. When you mention politics, somebody say, I'm not interested. What's my own with politics? And that is the reason why politics has been in the hands of very few people. But if in that dirtiness there's something, if there was not something, you wouldn't see politicians every 4 years wanting to remain where they are. So how about we encourage people to also get dirty? Let's get in and see. You know, getting gold is not easy. You know the process by which you pass through before getting gold.
All right, thank you for that perspective. This is Monday Studio coming to you on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We still have in the studio Mukhtar Modibo, head of Data Collation and Situation Room, Connected Development Code, and Ave Aki. She's a disability rights and inclusive advocate. Gentlemen and lady, we appreciate your having time to still being with us on the Mandate Studio. Listener, I would like to inform you that you can follow us on our social media handles: Facebook, Radio Nigeria Network; on YouTube, Radio Nigeria Network; and Twitter at Radio Nigeria HQ; Instagram at Radio_Nigeria HQ; and LinkedIn, Radio Nigeria Network. You can also reach us on WhatsApp on 0808 804 8115. That is 0808 804 8115. Follow the conversation at Radio Nigeria. We still have more correspondence reports from our correspondents across the country to tell us what exactly is happening after yesterday's governorship and state assembly elections. We've heard from some of them, and I know we still have more as time goes on. But for the moment, we'd like to take this report. The North Central geopolitical zone of the country is known as the nation's food basket of the nation. As a nation's food basket, due to its fertile terrain that aids the production of a variety of food crops. All the states in the region, Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Plateau, and Nasarawa, are capable of producing commercial quantities of yam, rice, sesame seeds, cassava, maize, and sorghum, among others. The correspondent Joey Anzak, who examines the region's potential and the several efforts by governments to assist farmers in increasing production. His report.
The vegetation of the North Central region of Nigeria falls under the Guinea Savannah, which has moderate amounts of rainfall. Irish potato, wheat, and even apples are cultivated. So what efforts are being made by governments in these states and the region to boost farming activities and to ensure food sufficiency and live up to the tag as a food basket of the country? At an event recently in Kwara, where the state government distributed free agricultural incentives to about 4,000 farmers, the state deputy governor, Mr. Kayode Alabi, said the aim was to enable farmers in the state to engage in all-year-round farming to ensure food security in the state and country at large.
50,000 smallholders farmers benefited from the agri-input switch subsidy in the year 2021. 15 tractors and one mobile workshop van was procured in the year 2021 to 2022, services to assist the farmers in the area of preparation of subsidized rates.
Meanwhile, in Kogi, the confluence state, richly blessed with fertile arable land for cultivation of both cash and food crops, farmers are appealing for government intervention to assist them to enhance their farming activities.
We use our energy to do the work, but now if government help us with chemicals, then it will easy our weeding. We are urging government to help us with software, or they should help us with appropriate chemicals and other materials that we are going to use for the farming season.
We are appealing to government to come into the aid of cassava farmers so that it will be able to make much impact.
Apart from the crops, fishing is also a major agricultural endeavor embarked upon by people of Kogi State. And in Nasarawa State, where major crops such as yam, cassava, sorghum, and bene seeds are cultivated, the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Mr. Nuri Oshafu, said government had taken deliberate steps to improve the quality of crops produced in the state through the establishment of rice mills and other structures across the state.
Last year, during the dry season, we distributed about 30 trucks of fertilizer and herbicides. So during the wet season, we distributed about 24 trucks of fertilizer to the farmers and some other farming goods.
Similarly, another state in the region that boasts of food crops is Benue State, where cultivation of crops like yam, cassava, maize, cashew, bene seed, soya beans, groundnuts, tomatoes, mango, and pepper are in abundance. Director of Agri Services, Benue State Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Mr. Thomas Unongo, said about 85% of people of the state are farmers. Hence, government is interested in building farmers' capacity to overcome agricultural challenges.
Recently, government secured farm implements like tractors that were distributed to farmers, and some agencies like Sajama Project and Inter Valley Project
they are able to procure power tillers.
Findings by Radio Nigeria indicates that most of the states in the north central region where these food crops are cultivated in large quantity do not have industries or factories that can preserve, process, and improve the quality of these crops. For Radio Nigeria, it has been Joey and Zako reporting.
Many thanks, Jerry, for that report. This is Monday Studio, coming to you on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We're bringing you reports on the governorship and state assembly elections that took place yesterday and some postponed elections taking place at the moment. And we've been having interactions with our correspondents spread across the different states of the Federation. We'll be hearing more from our correspondents, but we still have in the studio our guest, Dr. Maduba, head of data collation and situation room, connected development code, and Ave Aki. She's a disability rights and inclusive advocate. Thank you for still being with us, lady and gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let me come to you, Mukhtar. This is a time when you find all manner of results on the social media. You know, everybody claiming that their candidate is the one leading and coasting to victory. What should be done in this critical moment?
So what should be done is, first, don't be a victim. That's the first one. Don't be a victim. The second one, don't be a victim. And the third one, don't be a victim. The only person that is scheduled with the responsibility to announce result is the INEC. Not the Professor Mahmoud that we always see announcing the presidential election, but now it has changed to having to have what do you call it? It has changed to having to have in each and every state there will be one person that will announce the result, right? Which is the INEC. So they will have an INEC person announce the result there. So all you could do is everybody have situations that are being parallel tabulated, right? So now for doing parallel tabulating, what they are doing is largely getting some information and putting it out there. I'll tell you, I know of a political party, I think in Oshun or Ekiti, when they started the IRF issue, they put a big screen on a popular roundabout. And while they're tabulating, while the result is coming to IRF, people are watching, seeing what's going on. And it's a good thing, right? But that is still not an official result. The only official result is when those people, all those professors in this thing, the resident commissioners and what have you, come out to say, oh, okay, this person has scored the number of this vote and is returned elected. That's when you can say, so don't be someone that puts the information out there.
Sani Suleiman Jalingo is standing by. Sani Suleiman Jalingo.
Most of the coalition centers get up in Lagos, Katsina, as we've had.
But is it not proper for one to think, yes, their candidate is winning if, for example, one is following the IRF and how the results
but don't put the information out there because it's not in your position to put the information.
All right, I'll come back to you, but not before I take Sani Suleiman calling us, is it Jalingo now? Sani Suleiman.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Morning, Sani Suleiman. What's happening in Jalingo?
Well, Jalingo here, everything is going smoothly as what happened yesterday. The electoral processes have started as early as possible. People started queuing at the various polling units as early as 5 o'clock in the morning. And INEC officials arrived many of the polling units at the time that were scheduled, and they started the accreditation at around 8 o'clock, and voting started as early as possible. And there were security operatives everywhere in the state, and there was also restriction of movement, which people also obeyed that order by the police. And at various polling units that I visited, many people were conducted themselves in a peaceful manner. So, and turnout was also appreciable, because people came out more than they came out during the presidential and the National Assembly election, and there wasn't any hitches, unless only one local government, which is Denver, which I called an eyewitness that confirmed to me that there were some hoodlums that destroyed the electoral materials, which later the security operatives visited the area and were able to calm the situation. So at now, we don't know what the action that the INEC will take on that area. They will schedule the election, but now the counting of votes has started since yesterday at the ward level.
Let him tell us what's happening now, as of now.
So let's unmute you, sir.
Go ahead.
Now people are eager to hear the final result from the Independent National Electoral Commission here in Taraba State. But the collation center now they continue collecting results from various local governments that have already completed the election peacefully. So we are hoping that today, later, they may announce the results. But people are also commended the INEC for correcting some of the problems that were discovered during the last presidential and the National Assembly election. And that was also, in the case of beavers, most of the beavers as the last election were those that the INEC officials, some of them were not, they were not familiar with the reason of the beavers, but the INEC, after the election, organized a refresher training for those ad hoc staff, which this election of yesterday, they were able to use the beavers without any problem. So there wasn't any problem.
All right, Senator, what can you tell us about the mood of the people? What are they saying as they await the announcement
the mood of the people, everybody, some people are happy because the system of the election have changed, because before now there are some polling units that polling unit must be one party polling unit, which is if you don't belong to that party, you will not be able to cast or exercise your franchise. But this time around, everybody was allowed to choose the party he wants without any threat by anybody. So now people are just waiting to hear the final result, who is going to be the next governor of Taraba State, who is going to succeed the present governor, that is Darius Ishaku.
All right, could it be as a result of any measures taken by security agents? You talked about the fact that if you didn't belong to a particular party, you wouldn't be allowed to exercise your franchise in the past, and there has been a paradigm shift in this year's election. Why did that happen?
Well, that was before, but now the security has been very tight. So there wasn't any. They don't allow anybody to, do anything that could cause chaos. And if you are not an official or an official duty, you are not allowed to be moving around. And if you are going to your polling unit to cast your vote, many people they trek from a far distance to their polling unit. And that's, I spoke with some people who told me that they trek for over 30 hours from their houses to their polling unit. So after casting their vote, they also return back to their houses and continue with their normal businesses. And I can see security everywhere, as I said earlier. So there wasn't any problem. The security have taken very strong measures to ensure that there is no any break of law and order in the state.
All right, Senator Suleiman, thank you very much for talking to us. By the time the announcement of results begins,
It's my pleasure.
we hope to hear from you. Thank you. Senator Suleiman, our correspondent in Jalingo, the Taraba State Capital, on the situation concerning yesterday's governorship and state assembly elections. Coming back to our guest in the studio, prior to our taking that call from Sani in Jalingo, you were talking about the issue of having all manner of results on the social media, everybody claiming that it is their candidate that is constant to victory.
Yeah, so like I said, I just checked out my situation, and we have like 60% of results being uploaded on the IRF, and people are just doing parallel tabulating, but it's just for their own consumption to know their own strategy, right? And I don't discourage that for them to understand their own strategy, but it will do you good for you not to put out misinformation. And what will cause mayhem is it's not needed. So why don't you have a peaceful mind and still with the information when after some hours I make my decide when I announce this result. If you feel aggrieved because of the parallel thing you have done, then you approach the court and then go and deal with it, not bring people into the role. Nobody is showing the responsibility to talk about anything result. All we are showing with responsibility as observers is to observe. The people that are monitoring, that's the government people, they are meant to monitor, not even give result. That result is only the responsibility of INEC. And let's leave it at that.
What impact does sustain the results on the social media have on the election?
The impact is negative, and it is like if you do us good, the citizens, to like people are allocated duties. Your duty was to go out and vote. You did that. Why, after voting, it takes a process before elections are counted and announced. So why you have done yours, why go back and continue your normal life? Why not go back and continue normal life than to go back home because you have an Android phone, you could get a data of 150 naira, you just sit and start offloading results that are not, most of the time, not real. Like, it will do good, just like he stated. We should allow the people who are to do the job to do the job. Because when those results, when you as a person sit there are those that are posting the results, while some are there checking those social media results and having BP. Who is it affecting more? So it has this negative message that is sent out, and from that social media result, so you see that there's some chaos in some areas. You see some group of persons sitting somewhere, maybe drinking or something, and because of the result going around on social media, a fight breaks out.
All right, Mukhtar. This is a very critical moment in the electoral process. All attention is now focused on collation centers where announcement of results will be made. It's a very important period. People could be vulnerable at this time because winners will be announced and losers will be announced as well. What measures would you want to see governments take to ensure that there is absolute peace by the time announcement of results commences?
Yeah, so first of all, nobody has any job to do with the collection center apart from the people that are assigned. I tell you, even for most observers, what we tried to do was to just introduce few people that will just observe the processes of collection center, not everybody. So I think the first thing we should do as citizens is go back, watch and the channel, any channel you think is something you can resonate with, or follow the handles of these people, like you've been given handles. I'm sure any breaking news of any result that has been announced by INEC, you will verify it and go ahead and post it, check that, and wait for the official announcement. Right? If you don't have any issue,
this is okay for one to go to the convention center and stay away meters away from.
And you what?
So you have those instances.
Like in Kano, I tell you, something like this is happening. But to be honest with you, I don't see the reason behind that, because it will not change anything. You being there will not change anything. What would have changed is if anybody did not go out to vote yesterday, we go and tell that person, please come out and vote. That's the only thing that matters. What matters is those things has already been done. These people will
Olumide Abudu from Akure is standing by. It's one of the states that don't have governorship election, just state house of assembly. Olumide Abudu, Akure.
In the vote, what you do next is to do what? Is to start re-strategizing on how you're going to caution demand for how you're going to hold him accountable. Yeah. I think that's what people need to understand. Right. And in the government side,
we'll come back to you. Let's not keep Olumide Abudu on the line for too long. He's calling from Akure. Olumide, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Olumide, I know Ondo State is one of the states where the governorship election is not taking place.
Valid. Yeah.
What can you tell us? What's happening now?
Well, today, this morning, we believe that from the commission within the disposal box, I'm in the INEC office now, is that the 18 government area making up on the state, they have concluded all the exercise in that local government, where we are expecting 26 lawmakers in the regional assembly to emerge. And now, there's no serious activity that will take place here in the INEC office, except for the fact that the coalition officer for the 18 government area will come and submit the results unofficially to the INEC resident regular commissioner in Ondo State, Mr. Oyekola Oyelami, who a very small arrangement has been made here to receive these results from the 18 government area of Ondo State. And from the information I gathered from the head of department, voter education community, gender and civil society organization, Mr. Funike Oshifeto, she said a later date will be announced when the winners will be asked to come to receive the certificate of return on after the conclusion and the collation of the exercise from this part of the country.
Have any announcements been made so far? The winners of the state assembly elections?
From the local government areas, the rural areas, announcements were made there, not from the INEC office here in Akure where I am now.
So, have you on record any of the announcements made so far?
For instance, in now.
No, if do you have a record the returning officer making the announcement?
Yeah, he announced, but our reporter there covered, and because we have all our reporters scattered in the government, I don't have the voice of that, the details of the report from the area, but from the trailer I got from them, APC won in about 3, but the digits, the number of the votes, I cannot say off record now.
All right, we hope you will get us the details subsequently.
Definitely, I will get back to you.
Back to how the election took place on Umide. How did the voters conduct themselves yesterday?
Well, yesterday, initially, we were living on with the resident electoral commissioner from about 3 or 4 local we visited. Initially, in the early hour of the day, there were no good turnout, but towards the hour of 12, maybe, we discovered the things changed and people were coming out to vote. It was peaceful, except for a situation where we were moving from Akure to Barakri. And along the line, some people trailers were stopped and they were arrested, apprehended, covered. I never had the opportunity of knowing what they are carrying. But I believe they are heading towards the Lagos area. So they were apprehended and kept in the custody of the police around the Futa area of the state.
All right, thank you very much, Olumide. We hope to hear from you as the announcements happen, so that you let us know who and who have carried the day. Our correspondents in Akure, Olumide Abudu, on the situation report there. Ondo State is one of those states where the governorship election hasn't taken place, but the state assembly elections, elections into 26 states. 6 House of Assembly seats there, and we'll be giving you reports on those who have won and those who have lost in the course of time. We're still having in the studio our guests. They're still here giving us insights into the situation with regard to the 2023 general election, and Mukhtar and Ave are still here. Mukhtar, let's have you round off your thoughts with regard to the issue of results, emanating from different sources at this critical time, and of course what the government does have to do to ensure that there is peace after the polls, after the results have been announced by returning officers.
Yeah, like I was saying, so I think the first thing the government should do, or the security personnel should do, is to largely look inward and know there is history, right? The history of what has been occurring.
Oh, yeah. We take page 6 of the script, code, and page 6.
Page 6.
For reports, page 6, code, and
that can speak to humans. Personal relationship, communication is a key to this whole thing. And for politicians that will emerge, I think it will do us good if those guys try to put out the message of peace. Right? Immediately you emerge, put out a message of peace, put out a message of unity, put out a message of coming together. And if you lost, the first thing you could put out is a message of peace as well, and a message of telling your supporters to understand that, if you feel aggrieved or something, you will use the required channel to face the law and what have you. So you just have to use that message of peace, coordination, effective communication for people to sort of understand that this is what has happened and you're taking this to the next level. And if you've won, you know that people have voted for you, and all you could do is to put peace, protect them, because that is what you are meant to do. And on the people's side, all they could do is to listen to and the people that influence them, the people that they support, so that we'll have the peace, because we only have one Nigeria. I don't know if you have another country, but likely I just have Nigeria. Then let's vote ahead and put it together. Yeah.
All right, let's take this report. We'll come back to continue our discussions here on the Mandate Studio. Energy is the foundation for the industrialization of any nation. Accessing different sources of energy is a luxury many countries do not have. Nigeria, however, happens to be one of the many countries with such luxury, if only it taps into it. And this special report correspondent Nenna Igwe takes a look at the need to review coal mining in Nigeria.
Nigeria is endowed with many mineral resources, which include coal. In the early 50s, coal was playing a leading role in the supply of energy to the industrial sector before the discovery of oil. It generated employment for many Nigerians and also served as solid sources of energy for both domestic and industrial use. Coal production from inception maintained an upward trend and reached its peak between 1955 and 1959, when almost 1 million metric tons of coal was produced annually. As time went on, the leading role of coal in the country's energy mix declined rapidly following the discovery of oil in commercial quantity in the late 50s. The dwindling fortune of coal mining was further altered by the outbreak of Nigerian Civil War, which lasted from 1969 to 1970, as activities in coal mines across the nation were halted. Speaking on the importance of coal mining to the Nigerian economy, a former commissioner for education in Enugu State, Chief Nduka Enya, explained that apart from tourist attraction, coal served as major income generation to the southeast zone, as its profits were used to establish many industries in the area.
We have this area conveyor for them to use, which housed our generating plant for electricity, and electricity was supplied right to the whole of eastern region, including Port Harcourt. From the river, it was coal. We found these regions of conveyors. It was all destroyed during the war.
Chief Enya, who is also an advocate of good governance, enjoined governments to encourage domestic use of coal as cooking fuel to help increase the demand for the products, and by so doing, increase revenue for the government.
Instead of emphasizing coal only, emphasize the byproducts of coal. So coal can also repeat in such a way as you produce it automatically changes into already burnt coal. So what comes out is coke, and people now buy coke. The coke does not smoke.
The President, Enugu Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Mr. Jasper Ndawike, noted that it was imperative to de-emphasize over-dependence on oil, as well as encourage private sector participation in coal mining. A public affairs analyst, Dr. Jason Mado, called for adequate funding of coal mining sector and its management.
During the time of coal industry, a lot of things were founded. It generated a lot of economy. It helps in the source of energy to most of the industries and mines. So we have to do something. It is important that Nigeria go back to increase their GDP through coal.
Also speaking, a frontline politician in Enugu State, Comrade Chris Ago, said that if coal mining was re-established in Enugu, it will help to discourage deforestation of trees and generate employment for the teeming unemployed youths in the area.
If the coal mining is re-established in Enugu, it will go a long way to ensuring that poverty is buried in Enugu State. It's a very large company and is still in vogue in Europe. You can use coal to generate power. There are a lot of things you can do with coal, even cooking. Just a
little coal, it will last for 24 hours. Our people just abandon that industry.
Others urge governments to improve the living condition of workers of Nigeria Coal Corporation through regular payments of salaries and adequate funding. In Enugu, Nana Igwe, Radio Nigeria.
Many thanks, Nana Igwe, for that story from the coal city, Enugu. This is Monday Studio on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We're giving you reports with regard to the situation on the 2023 general election. The Governorship and State Assembly elections that took place yesterday, some of the polls suspended and are taking place at the moment, or being rounded off in different, some parts of the country. We still have in the studio Mukhtar Magdigo, he's head of Data Collation and Situation Room, Connected Development Code, and Ave Aiki. She's a disability rights and inclusive advocate. Thank you for still being with us. Well, and then we have our correspondent, Moshope, on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
Where are you talking to us from?
Yes, presently I'm at the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC office in Ibadan, Oyo State capital. And I am speaking right now about 18 local governments have been selected and announced here at the INEC office in Ibadan. The atmosphere is very tight. Security here is very tight. Security agencies, the Nigerian police, the army, civil defense, and other agencies are here with their senior security officers present to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. As I speak right now, the commission is going on a research, probably to allow other local governments to bring in their results. Oyo State is a big. We have 3 local governments, and some of these local governments are very far from the capital, Ibadan. So we are still expecting some local government to bring in the results from their council. Aside that, outside the Independent National Electoral Commission office, I can see a lot of people, who are around. So the security is very tight there, but a lot of people are presumed to be supporters of some political parties. Are there waiting for the final results from the INEC? Obviously, they want to listen to the results so that probably jubilation can begin.
All right. Should we have any announcements been made with regard to the state assembly elections?
Yes. Some announcements have been made.
Well, do you have on record those announcements?
Hello, you said?
Do you have on record the returning officers making the announcements?
No, not yet, because I've been here at the INEC office.
Okay, by the time you do hope to have that so that the winners will be known by Nigerians. Let me take you back a little, how the election was held yesterday. What can you tell us with regard to the conduct of the people?
Okay, I can't hear you, please.
How did the people conduct themselves in yesterday's election?
Yes, the election was very peaceful yesterday in Oyo State. Just that we have low turnout of voters in the state, across the state. But by and large, security-wise, there were no record of security breach. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, it was peaceful all around the city. I was on the entourage of the INEC rec yesterday, and of course, some of the senior security officers were also on the entourage. moving around Ibadan to ensure that things work out fine. And from our findings from where we visited yesterday, we discovered that everywhere was peaceful. The electorate conducted themselves peacefully and in an orderly manner. It was peaceful yesterday in Oyo State.
There weren't any cases of insecurity, were there?
Hello?
Were there any cases of insecurity recorded?
I can't hear you, please.
Were there any cases of insecurity during the polls?
No, not at all. Not at all. It was very peaceful. The security agencies were on high alert, and there were no cases of security breach or destruction of the electoral process.
How about the issue of vote buying?
Well, it's just one of the units that we had, but we cannot actually confirm what really went wrong there. But there were reports that there was vote buying in certain units, but not it wasn't that it's not across the state actually. It's just at a particular unit. And when we got there yesterday, we discovered, probably because of the security agencies that were around, we discovered that everywhere was peaceful, and we couldn't really get anyone, to engage in such acts.
All right, so thank you very much indeed, Motobe, for talking to us. We can't wait to hear from you by the time more announcements are made.
Thank you.
Have a great day in Ibadan.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Our person in Ibadan, states with regard to the Governorship of State Assembly elections that took place there yesterday. He told us that the polls were very peaceful and results are now being awaited. Coming back to our guest in the studio, Mukhtar you heard what he said. The supporters of different political parties, barricading the front spaces of the INEC office, resulting them front spaces, trying to know who exactly has come in there. Is it something that could really be prevented?
It's something that can be prevented. Okay, for instance, they said they are barricading. Are they trying to tell us that what they are announcing, they will get hold of this? Or how? I think in the INEC coalition office, there are representatives inside there. So them supporters coming to just barricade around, it doesn't make sense. Why not go to your houses, watch from your TV screens, social media, and wait for the results? However the result comes out, we have another 4 years to re-strategize and make our efforts heard. But staying there, making noise, causing chaos, it doesn't make sense. We have to do better as a citizen too. We have a life after election.
Yeah, to be honest, I think during election time,
Amici Odo from Ebonyi.
Hey, it's not wearing the headphone.
Amici Odo from Ebonyi State is standing by. Amici Odo from Ebonyi State.
Have agent in these collection centers, and this agent are speaking full out for us, right? So can you just stay and wait for us to, when we get the result, we come out and we jubilate together? I think that would be the best. But if they are not causing any mayhem, they can stay on there.
But isn't it a strategy of causing that not causing mayhem, ensuring that the person they voted for is announced winner?
So the person you voted for might not turn out to be the winner.
Then what happens?
Yeah, so the thing is, we just have to be law-abiding and peaceful people.
All right, we have on the line Amici Odo in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State. Amici, good morning.
Good morning.
What can you tell us with regard to the elections and what's happening in Abakaliki at the moment?
Okay, we are the stage of collating the results at the state level. That is, we are precisely at the state headquarters of INEC, and we have about 1.5 million registered voters in Aberdeen State, and about 13, political parties participated in the gubernatorial and House of Assembly elections that took place yesterday. Coincidentally, we have received two results. That is the results from two local governments. Our local government area has presented this result. Is that South local government has presented? But we have, four. That is four local governments that just arrived, and they are Apiku South, Abakaliki Izi, Iza North, and Okuku. Yeah, so in the course of time, the four will be taken, but presently two have been presented to the committee and the gentlemen of the press that are here in the INEC headquarters.
All right, what can you tell us about the mood of the people? We have heard reports from some parts of the country that supporters of different political parties are outside the INEC headquarters waiting for the announcement of results. That's the situation in Abakaliki.
Well, that is not the situation. There is no supporter of any political party close to where we are. Of course, this place is an isolated place to proceed the government house, but it's highly cordoned off, by security agents. So I believe people are at home waiting for the results to be read out. In the meantime, people have come to their various churches to worship God, and they believe that by the time they will be coming back, maybe the results will be there. So whoever that picks, that becomes the governorship, governor-elect, I think the people will accept it. I think that's the state of their mind.
What's the mood of the people like? What are they saying about the elections, Amish?
Yeah, the people, some persons I interacted with before now, were not actually comfortable with some pockets of violence that characterized yesterday's exercise, especially in Zanot, where there were many, where there were burning of materials and all manner of violence, And some other places where we gathered that there was vote suppression, For instance, one candidate in the South, Africa candidate, informed some of us that he was chased away from his polling booth, not even allowed to vote. And when we made inquiries, of course, the people who are meant to have done that debunked and said it wasn't true. So the people weren't all that happy because of the way it was handled. Another thing I observed, which I said yesterday, was no turnout of voters. And some persons who didn't participate, I interacted with, said they were not comfortable with the outcome of the presidential election, so they believed their votes will not count, so they decided to start home. So that's the situation on ground.
All right, Amichulo, thank you very much for giving us those pieces of information. Amichulo in the back of the Ebony State Capital. Sorry.
So, like I was saying, so there's no point for having to have people stay at the collection center. So each and every
the case is different.
Yes. So each and every party has an agent, and that agent speaks for the party within the collection system and what have you. So all they could do is just sit.
Oganura, please, you hand over to Okamutia Eguriaze for 12. Thank you.
And call for people to be peaceful, call for unity, call for coordination, and call for tranquility across the country, because that's the only country we have. And for other people that want to be there, that's what will now end up
if you're trying to overpower the security personnel, you end up, visiting your ancestors, which is not there is no need for that, because if you're trying to disrupt collection, I think even the INEC chairman has no powers to stop collection, or even the president. The only person that have the power is the court of law to stop that process. So why will you go and stop the process that the big people self cannot stop it? It's better you just stay calm. Mothers, this is their time to preach peace to their children, to stay at home, and fathers as well. If you don't have anything, just try as much as possible to stay away from that. It's better they tell you story than you tell the story.
And also contestants should have the spirit of either you win or you lose. When you get out, call your supporters and talk to them in the spirit of, if it's sport, they say sportsmanship spirit. Address your supporters. Yes, we lost at this pros, but we have another 4 years to go in again. We strategize and go back in. But I noticed that when somebody loses election, there is no formal addressing their supporters. They don't do that, and it's not fair. They just leave their supporters on the street without even having a direction, knowing what's next. But I think in helping to calm the situation of to bring down tension, when users do that, I think it will help and it will go a long way. Call these people. The normal when campaigns were going on, the normal way you call them, you cook, you eat, and all. Call them, cook, eat, and talk to them. I think people will go out knowing that, okay, we looked up to him, and it's something we can still go on the next 4 years. It will help and it will go a long way too.
So someone told me sometime back that during elections, those who have lost should be given the effect as users, and a kind of medal should be given to them to encourage them to continue to do the good things they intend to do for the people, even while not in office. Do you think this is something that should be advocated?
Yeah, so the medal thing, I don't know where that is coming from, but I think they tried their luck, Like I said, anybody that is contesting election, if he is not contesting to sell the whole thing, is contesting to either win or lose. In business, there are two things. You either win, you either gain, or you lose. In development, you either get great milestone or you learn, right? In politics, you either win or you lose. So you have to just be one. You might win, you might lose. So that's why when I was saying the people in other political parties, it's not a waste of vote. If one person voted for you, it's because that one person resonated with you. If everybody did not vote for you, then you need to go back and strategize. So a losing election is just in terms of nomenclature. You've lost election, but at least you've learned a lot of things. So if it's something you want to do again, then you try your luck. If it's something that you feel the person that got in actually did what you were meant to do, then move on. You look for another thing. But issue of giving them when we got it wrong sometimes, there was a time they said politics is a game of what do you call it, corrupt people, and they are dirty-minded people.
Page 7, the last report, culture, salsa. Culture, salsa.
So let's begin to see people that understand that thing come into power and make a difference. In as much as when I say this, sometimes a friend told me that we've had a professor, we've had a pastor, we have an imam, we have had old names of things as them, but they did not perform well. He mentioned some state, and I had to tell him that, we can always make a difference. having to get people that can make a difference is a thing. So I think if we've lost the election is another point for you to sit back, learn from what you've lost, re-strategize, and come back.
Sometimes it's not the person with the best of manifestos that wins an election. So in the event of that, can someone who hasn't been so lucky to scale through the loser in this case present their manifesto to the winner so that they would carry along
So there are some words that I don't want to mention because some certain political party are using it. Government of unity. I don't mean what the political party is saying, but there is a government of ideology and government of manifesto. So if you happen not to win the election, nothing, if you're challenging the verdict or what have you, nothing stops you from working together if your interest is the people, if your interest is the state, if your interest is the country, nothing stops you from challenging it, but having a conversation. I watched what happened between the senator-elect of Kaduna Central and the person he defeated in the other political party. They had a meeting. They had conversation of, this is my plans for Kaduna Central. This is my plan. But I'm telling you to your face that I am going to challenge the process that brought you. I congratulate you, but I will challenge the process. I think this is a plus, right? You are challenging someone, but you're giving him the manifesto because you're after the people, you're after the state, right? So if you think this is something that will work for the people, then give it to that person. When you when you collect back your mandate, if that happens, then you continue from where you stop.
You seem not to be comfortable with government of national unity. Why aren't you comfortable?
I am not saying so. Government of national unity is a good thing. So I'm saying a certain political party is mentioning that. I don't mean what they're saying. What I'm saying is the real term of government of national unity is what we need. We need continuity in our process, and when we get that, I bet you this will run a good race and win the rest together.
All right. This is political. That's Monday Studio Radio coming to you on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We gradually bringing this program to a close. We still have as our guests very important resource persons who have been contributed to our discussions here in the studio, IK and Mukhtar. We'll be back in a short while. Let's take this report quickly. Various stakeholders in the culture and tourism industry have emphasized the necessity for people to conserve and protect their culture since it improves the quality of life and well-being of individuals and communities. Well, according to stakeholders, culture also plays a significant role in national integration and offers substantial social and economic advantages as well. Well, in this report, Ben Okofu examines how cultural values have contributed to the integration of people in the south of the country.
Culture can be defined as the ideas, customs, and social behavior of a particular people or society. Culture includes, among other things, the languages of the people, their mode of dressing, dancing, marriages, arts, institutions, and values. In the south-south region of Nigeria, which comprises Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, and River states, the people exhibit unique cultural practices which have created some sort of bonding among people of the area. Speaking to Radio Nigeria on the significance of culture to the people, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Bayelsa State on Tourism, Mr. Priye Kiriamo, stated that culture has the ability to connect people together and create bonding.
There's one key benefit of cultural practices is the ability to connect people together. Even among us in the South-South, if we take our cultural practices serious, it will unify us. For instance, if there's a ceremony, maybe the Uge festival, people will come from different places. When they come, they interact. They will not know themselves better. And when you know yourself better, there's more bonding than when you see yourself from a distance. when you are at a distance, there's room for suspicions. You might see a man's face looking very hard, but actually when you engage him one-on-one, closely, he's a very simple guy and friendly. So culture brings us together through our festivals, through our fairs, through our marriages.
Mr. Kirimo noted that in spite of different tribes in the South-South region, which includes the Ibibio and Alang from Akwa Ibom State, Ijaw in Bayelsa State, Efik from Cross River State, Urobo and Ishekiri and Igbos in Delta State, Benin and Esan in Edo State, Ikwere and Ogonis from Rivers State. Certain cultural values during festivals and marriages have always brought them together.
Our food is seafood, absolute fish. So the way we dress, we had the first interaction with the Portuguese. So you look at the cap, those art we wear, it is a result of those exchange, cultural exchanges. The beauty of it is that in tourism, we actually promote culture. When we promote culture, we encourage cultural exchanges. So when visitors come, we call them tourists. They interact with us. They bring their own way of life to interact with ours. We both appreciate our different ways of life. That brings bond connection.
A community chief in Yenogwa, Deme Ezibake, explained that apart from burials and other festivities that tend to integrate the people of the South-South, vernacular language, popularly called Pidgin English, has been an acceptable method of communication, especially among the rural folks.
Yes, Pidgin English, I think that is one of the things that bring us together, because all of us is so common in the whole Niger Delta, but just that the Wari has their own pattern of Pidgin that is very funny and very interesting. But Pidgin is one of the cultures that I would say brings us together, that we are able to communicate easily with Pidgin.
On his part, the acting head of Department, Library Information Science, Niger Delta University, Amasuma, Dr. Abraham Etebo, said the mode of conducting marriages and dress patterns of some people of the South-South have influenced other tribes.
For a marriage to be properly done, we have traditional drink. We have palm wine. For the fresh palm wine, we also have hot drink known as ogogoro or kai kai. These things play key roles in traditional marriages. Whether you are a Christian, whether you are a traditionalist, it must be done. That is what conveys the message to the elders and other people seated, that yes, they are following tradition. Culturally, these things are important. Let's look at the dressing. You look at the Kalabari people of River State. They are the most colorfully dressed in the South-South. And it is influencing others. Look at the Bayelsa people today. Whenever they have occasion, some want to mimic the Kalabari people because of their dress sense.
Mr. Tebo also stated for people to preserve their culture, it was needed to promote arts and technology, fashion, music, visual arts, and storytelling traditions, which are unique to each culture. In Yenogwa, Ben Okofu, Radio Nigeria.
Many thanks, Ben Okofu, for that story. You're still listening to Mandate Studio, coming to you on the network service of Radio Nigeria. We're discussing yesterday's governorship and state assembly elections, and we gradually bringing this program to a close. It's been almost 4 hours since we've been here. Various persons here, very wonderful people, giving us insights into the elections of yesterday and the way forward. Dr. Madibo is head of Data Coalition and Situation Room, Connected Development Code, and Ave Aki, a disability rights and inclusive advocate. It's time for us to have your parting words. Mukhtar.
Okay, so my word is we waited for 4 years to have this process, and we should not allow anything, our own personal interest, to stand against the interests of the country. From the government, we should do as much as possible to give the people what they want, and for people, we should do as much as possible to follow the guidelines and also follow the process the way it is. It's just some couple of hours. We'll be done with the process, and then the governance happens. So let's have interest in governance the way we have interest in election. Let's have interest in check and balances. Elections have come with a lot of surprises, right? So if the surprises are there, let's have a lot of surprises in giving people positive impact of governance so that we can win the race we started 24 years ago with a clear margin. We have the largest democracy let's have the largest impactful democracy in Africa. And I think that will be the best thing that will happen.
All right, Abe.
Nigeria can be great again if those elected in office go back, sit back in their offices and do the right thing. Serve the people. You are elected by these people to serve them and not for your private pockets or your unborn grandchildren. And also, I want to encourage all the citizens out there that we shouldn't let what happened February 25th and yesterday discourage us about elections in Nigeria. We are citizens, and this is the only country we can call ours. Yes, a lot of people have the finances to just you are going there as a second-class citizen. It's not your country. So Nigeria is ours, and we die here. We put hands together to make it work. And also, to persons with disabilities out there, yes, I know did not get it right. I know did not do the things he promised to do, but we can't stop talking, we can't stop requesting for. So I'm encouraging us all that in the next 4 years is another election year. We should come out in mass and vote. And also, this is the time to sit back, work and strategize. We shouldn't say after we did 2023 and our votes were not counted. No. Our votes will count, and if we sit back and not do anything or not say anything, that is where we'll be defeated. So I encourage everyone to come out and vote in the next coming election too. And also pray for our leaders and those who have direct contacts with them. Please talk to them to work for the masses. They were elected for the masses, and by the masses too.
And disability rights and inclusive advocates. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Simon Dubois, Head of Data Collation and Situational Connected Development Code. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who's been part of this production. The Director General, Dr. Suleiman, Director Programs, Shima Key, Director Susena Akila, Director Engineering Services, Sanda Askira, Director Sports and OE, Abazayan, Director ICT, Gibadu Ibrahim. The production teams from programs, news, engineering, sports and OE, online, and ICT directors. My name is Surya Muhammad, and I thank you for staying with us. Monday Studio reopens later today at 4:30 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for being on the program. At the top of the hour, we'll be joining Ochemute Uyese, who will be giving us the news at midday.